Like Ben, Andrew doesn't write his own stuff.
All the way up.
Who am I waiting for to look at? You tell me, am I ready to go? We're good, okay. We're good, okay.
I don't know the
My
professional
printer-
way to do that.
All right, my printer broke at home's been going off. I apologize.
I'm
Jack Tomzak, co-host of Up and Adam. I know why Ben wanted to do a roast tonight. So when you guys leave, you think that I'm the asshole. And I need to be careful because right before Ben got fired, he was working on fixing my laptop. He's halfway done. And I need the other half fixed. It is sad news that Ben is no longer with the show. Sad news for me because I, of course, started with him. It's bad news for Twin Cities radio listeners. Where else are they going to get all of Adam Carolla's jokes? But what's his name? Ben?
Ben. I thought you meant Adam.
Ben is going to be fine. You know, people didn't think Andrew Ridgeley would do much after he left Wham. If I'd have told you in 1994 that DJ Jazzy Jeff would be a multi-platinum recording artist and movie star, you'd have laughed at me. Thank you, Ben. All of these jokes are for you. Nobody believed that Peter Scolari would have won an Oscar.
Bosom buddies, come on!
The other, Tom Hanks, forget it. And of course,
He was on Newhart.
Vanilli. Now, things look bleak for Ben at this point, but he is actually in a much better spot than when he started radio. He's got a girlfriend. For at least until they get past the holidays enough where it's socially acceptable for her to dump him. He's got his own apartment, just 3 times more expensive than his old apartment, and now he has no income. And he is widely known to tens of thousands of people who also know he can't handle basic life tasks. It's not, he doesn't have a job. That's bad. But they did give him a severance. 6 months, good pay, no work. In the same 6 months, I will be planning radio shows, doing radio shows, booking guests. He'll be doing nothing and getting paid the same. So like the last 6 months. I'm actually looking forward to hearing what Ben has to say. It'll be the first time ever that he's spoken without me spending the day before researching and telling him what we're talking about. All right, who is first? Mike Wilson, filmmaker Mike Wilson, the man who has made as many films as Ben has pissed away once-in-a-lifetime opportunities.
Thank you. I am Mike Wilson. I'm a frequent fill-in host. I host a podcast called the Half-Ass Cast. I also host a podcast with Andrew called the... Yes, I'm plugging. And I'm also the obvious future replacement for you when you're fired next month. Ben, what do you say, man? I for one, am proud of you. I mean, it sucks losing a job. I've lost job. Everybody in here has probably lost a job at a time or another. It's terrible. But you did go on this journey from being a nobody, making graphics for damn near nothing, to recording a podcast. Proud of yourself. At the same time, I have to admit that I am kind of happy. I was on that stupid news quiz like 20 times. And I still never listened to it. I am not actually sure that it ever aired, and according to the ratings, that might be true. I was in the studio recording it, had no idea whether it was on, but I'm happy that's dead because if it somehow survives you, at least no one will ever again be subjected to that retarded one-on-one or odd one out segment where we're forced to climb into the mysterious and strange mind of Ben Kruse while deciphering whatever obscure thing he was into this week. It's just an awful, awful show, and it should have been fired long before you were. I don't know. I have a lot of stories about Ben, but as I thought about how much we all love you here, there was one that really stuck out, and I felt like it was important to share because it was sort of instructive. I was filling in for Jack on one of the many, many vacations that his wife pays for. People don't realize that Jack's job is to go play radio and then go home and treadmill for the rest of the day so that Thundercat has a decent piece of ass to come home to every night. So I discovered that if you bring up the words McDonald's and drive-through, he flies into a tizzy. It's amazing. And we were having this conversation, by the way, on a major market radio station about the McDonald's drive-through. And just so you know, he's over here going, it's large market, not major market. Yes. No, you don't fucking do that. No, you don't. So he's the asshole that sits there that you have to wait for while the line backs up for eternity, right? So he does that, and then he finally gets up there and orders his 3 Big Macs, his large fries, 2 double quarter pounders, and a Diet Coke because he has a girlfriend now, and he's got to look good. I, as per usual, demonstrate that he's factually wrong, that you just go. You pick one. It's America. You make a decision and you go, right? And the callers were on my side. It was perfect. Until a few weeks later, I was at the McDonald's drive-thru, and there was one of these assholes.
It's probably me.
And then, like a bunch of sheep, like a bunch of liberals, everybody else waited to go. And I felt like we should have used some of that leftover McDonald's grease to burn these people alive, starting with you, because I think that you probably inspired them.
I have a following.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I know.
Could be. But I think that this story is instructive because it does prove that Ben is a man of conviction. He's bold and brave. He will not be deterred. And we know this because, unlike that drive-through lane at McDonald's, he walked happily and quite blindly into the morning show gig with Jack. So happily that when they landed the morning show, Ben cried. I don't know if you remember that. You were on The Late Debate, and you cried. And he didn't just cry. Cried on air, cried like Glenn Beck, as if Glenn Beck were putting down his dog at a rededication of the Statue of Liberty, accompanied by the Mormon Tabernacle Choir singing God Bless America while Michelle Bachmann tickled his undercarriage. He cried. But then he did a morning show, and he carried this pretty face loudmouth along with him, morning after godforsaken morning, until he was finally and mercifully fired. Thanks, Obama. Another one bites the dust. Final point, I think we can all agree on this, is the most important point. Going along with Jack Tomczak into the unknown is a really stupid decision. Never do that. Never, ever do that. He's evil. Just look at him. I don't know. But, Ben, we love you, man. You did good. You're going to land on your feet, and Jack will probably be assassinated by some commie very soon. Probably Jamar. So we all win. It'll work out, especially for me, because I'll get my own morning show very soon.
Thank you, Mike. I would echo your statements that Ben is a brave man. Most people, when their boss says, if you don't come to the pre-show meeting, you're going to get fired, would come to the pre-show meeting. Brave. Very brave. And we are going to miss That's News to Me, the news quiz. Ben spent all week making that thing, crafting that thing to be perfect. We could continue with it, but I can't find the 45 minutes it would take a normal person to write the exact same thing. Up next, a woman that Ben and I, well, just me now, I owe a lot to. The woman who thinks listening to the radio is just like being on the radio, NASCAR Kelly.
Well, thank you for that wonderful introduction. I was going to start off by saying welcome, everybody. It's great to see such a big crowd here to honor Ben and to give warm wishes for his future, whatever that may be. And I wanted to say, for those of you that don't know me, why are you here? I'm, of course, NASCAR Kelly from Lino Lakes. Let me get the sappy stuff out of the way. 4 years ago, I found Jack and Ben on my little kitchen radio a couple weeks after they had started broadcasting from the broom closet in Ramsey. I called into their show one night, and the rest is history. I'm thrilled to be here to help celebrate Ben. May I also say, I wrote this at 2 o'clock in the morning, so I'm a little tired. If I get a little tongue-tied, forgive me. But we're also here to wish Jack well in his new venture of doing radio alone. But after 4 years of tag teaming with Ben, I'm sure things will work out just fine. I'm honored to have them allow me to ride the roller coaster of the last 4 years of their radio careers. It's been an honor to tag along. They've become dear friends, and no matter what happens in radio, as Ben told me last Friday when he was breaking the news to me, he wasn't going to be on anymore, and I was crying incessantly into the phone. He said, it's the friendships that matter. And Ben, that's true. So, one more thing before I get to my stories. Andrew, Jack, plug your ears. Literally, plug your ears. Screw iHeartRadio. Thank you very much. Yes, I'm still at the anger stage of grief. Now then, first of all, a shout out to soon-to-be cat lady. She couldn't be here tonight, but she arranged all of this and got us all together. So thank you. If you're watching on the webpage. So when soon-to-be cat lady asked me to help roast Mr. Kruse, I immediately regretted it when I said yes. How can I make fun of such a good friend, somebody who dreamed of a career in radio? That career suddenly came to a screeching and hopefully temporary halt. How could I roast a guy who all he ever wanted in life was just to be a game show host on a radio show? A guy who shared my fondness of classic radio like Loveline with Adam Carolla and Dr. Drew. What was I going to say? And then someone reached out to me, someone by the name of Anne-Marie, Ben's cousin. Ben started this way back when he was a kid, and Anne-Marie shared some stories with me.
Are you kidding me?
Oh, no, I'm not kidding at all. First, she said that Ben would play weatherman or The Price is Right at family gatherings as a child. Thinking back to that, I wondered if the odd one out round back then was known by the family as what is going on in Ben's brain, as it is now. Now, Ben calls it the tedious round of odd one out. I always called it, what the hell? I couldn't come up with the answer, and all I could do was just stare at Ben and go, I don't understand this line of thinking, but it was fun anyway. Anne-Marie says, so far, all the cousins agree that putting on shows at Grandpa's house was a big part of growing up with Ben. Cousin Kendall remembers that Ben used a CD as a Christmas star one year. Very fitting because of Ben's true devotion to computers, which I say, devotion or fondness doesn't quite cover it. One time I witnessed Ben in a sheer panic mode because his laptop would not boot at the Ramsey studio, and I thought he was going to have a stroke. But he recovered, and it did make for some good radio. Anne-Marie also shares, whenever Ben was over at my house, my father would have to bring the IT guy over to fix whatever Ben had changed on the family computer. Ben would usually fix a problem that we had. However, Dad didn't handle change well. Anne-Marie, is this a family trait, not handling change well? Again, I witnessed when Ben was... when he thought was the last show from Jack's Basement, and I think Mike already covered it, cry like a baby because he couldn't handle that if the 2 hours a night that he was with Jack was going to go away. But anyway, the last thing that Anne-Marie sent me was a very sweet note. She was working with Ben when he met Jack on the Rod Graham's campaign. And to quote Anne-Marie, she says, they were love-struck with each other from the start. And finally, Anne-Marie says lovingly of her cousin, Ben is one of the greatest graphic designers I've ever worked with. His creativity is unmatched. Aww. Thank you, Anne-Marie, for the stories. Page 2. I know. I just went on and I could not stop writing.
Cal ad before you say page 2.
Yes.
You on a weekend show?
And then there's, and I think I just blew that chance, but thank you anyway. Dina from Florida sent me a note. If you don't know Dina invited Jack and Ben down to Florida for a conference. In Jacksonville, Florida. All she wanted to say was, let me tell you the story of when I made a pass at Ben and he responded with, I don't talk to women. Now, ladies that are friends of Ben, if you've ever had a conversation with Ben, raise your hand if you have never heard that statement come from Ben's mouth. Okay, now raise your hand if you heard Ben say, I don't know how to talk to women, as he was talking to you. And said it multiple times throughout the conversation. But anyway, and then he would end with, yeah, but you don't count. Seriously. Thank you. Some highlights of the last 4 years that I'll never forget. Bringing treats to the studio, doing late night laundry, listening to Jack and Ben take calls, and then I would have to stop and go call to tell somebody that they were wrong. Asking Jack and Ben to MC various events in the North Metro for free. That's probably all gone. Late Debate's first anniversary spectacular. If you haven't listened to that on the podcast, you need to find it. It's fantastic, and it's all Ben. It's just great. Ben ranting because his car was crushed at the salvage yard.
They crushed my soul.
Yeah, they crushed his car. Yeah. That was when I knew Ben had the gift of ranting. Jack and Ben would let me bring my kids in the studio. Molly, my daughter, thought that was kind of cool. They come into a radio station, hear what happens. My son Ethan, who really wanted to be here tonight. Yes, he really wanted to be here tonight. That kid is definitely my son. He loves talk radio. He wants Jack and Ben to come over so he can talk politics with Jack and Minecraft with Ben. That tells you where he ranks in order. Also with Ben, font size is everything. Never forget it. Font size is everything. And you took I think you took something from typeface. Being corrected frequently by Ben that the Twin Cities is not a major market radio demographic. It's large market. Large market. Yes, Ben, I get it. Large market radio station. 16. Celebrating. We are 16. Celebrating. Let me move on. Celebrating my 40th birthday party. That my husband put on a surprise party that included friends and family and 2 large market radio stars in my house. And then there's the news quiz. I can't express to you the withdrawal I am going through right now because I can't do the news quiz. So, Ben, I'd like to invite you over to my house every Saturday morning at 8 o'clock. I've got space in the living room. Ethan will participate, and we can do our own news quiz then. Yeah, no sleeping in. You'll come over and do the news quiz.
What was the second broadcast? Was that like 10?
1 o'clock.
1 p.m.
Oh, 1 p.m. Do the 1 p.m.
I'll do the 1 p.m.
Okay, that'll work. So now I look at Ben, and when I met Ben, as Jack said before, he was driving a piece of crap car. He was living in some dude's basement. He was nervous all the time, and then radio happened. Now he has his own apartment. I think he has a better car. He's dating a very lovely lady who's very good to him. He has a ton of friends. He's feeling more confident and loving life. And then iHeartMedia just throws it all down the toilet. Thank you very much for throwing away the last 4 years. But in those 4 years, you have gained a lot of friends, Ben. You've gained. I have gained some friends through this, and so it actually is not for waste. And I wanted to thank everybody again for coming. And Ben, hey, here's to the future.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. I wish Sizzle were here so he would know the name and the voice not to let through onto the air anymore. I love iHeartMedia. I think you totally should do the news quiz in your kitchen. It'll have, or living room rather. It'll have just as many listeners as it did when it was on the air. And I don't take getting fired well. Ben's demeanor in the last week has been amazing. He's relaxed. He's got no responsibilities, much like a child. He's a child. And okay. Okay, and Andrew's next. I'm not gonna say anything bad about Andrew at all. The last guy who did, he fired so he could take a spot in the morning show. Ben's former boss, Andrew Lee.
For the record, I had nothing to do with it. I'm glad to see everybody made it here on time. Being on time is important.
I was here early.
I'm Andrew Lee. I was Ben's producer and quasi-boss for the last few years. I say quasi-boss because at iHeartMedia, we've all got like 12 bosses, and nobody seems to know who's in charge of what. Got a few of those. My main responsibility seems to be to keep the station on the air. As long as there's some sound coming out of the transmitter, people seem to be happy, which is the basic standard I applied when I hired Jack and Ben. They can make noise. I've been in radio a long time, and sadly, I've had to let a lot of people go over the years. It's never fun. Okay, sometimes it's fun. I told Jack and Ben early on that survival in radio kind of boils down to a few basic things. Show up on time. Have a good attitude. Be a team player. Go above and beyond what you're asked to do. And show up prepared to do a show. Let me reiterate. I told him all this when I hired him. I always liked working with people who are new to the radio business, especially someone like Ben, who's been dreaming of working in radio all his life. The wide-eyed wonder when the mics light up for the first time, that excitement of speaking to tens of thousands of people, the adrenaline rush after a good show, watching that person become consumed by their own ego, seeing them start to feel like they're untouchable. The first time they yell, "It's my show, damn it!" I feel like a proud parent. Some of you may be aware that Ben did the post-game show on Fan with something called meat sauce. Yes.
Some of you were eating that tonight.
We have an employee named Meat Sauce who's still getting a check. And somehow Ben couldn't make the cut. I think he's probably going to miss doing the post game show more than anything else at the station. But Ben, if you like, you can call me 4 hours after every Vikings game and tell me why you think the Vikings are a year away from being playoff contenders. The upside is this way you'll have one more listener. All hope is not lost for Ben, though. We're starting a new bit on the show tomorrow morning, Ben's Internet Job Search. We'll search for jobs where you only have to show up. We'll search for jobs where you only have to show up for 3 hours a day, never have to deal with rush hour, get to talk about whatever you want, and can be late and unprepared. And second thought, Ben is screwed. I think Paul Allen might have been the most upset about the news that Ben was no longer with the morning show. Yeah, he was quite upset. Really? Yeah. PA really enjoyed shooting down Ben's takes and making him uncomfortable every Monday. PA looks like a slimmer Tom Emmer. It's not a compliment.
One eyebrow.
But for some reason, he makes Ben stammer more than any Miss Minnesota we've ever had in the studio. In all seriousness, Ben was a lot of fun to work with. He will be missed. Mornings won't be the same without someone complaining about coffee lids and fast food service. Fortunately, we still have Sizzle. He can wander around with a confused look on his face, not do what I ask, and randomly start talking about obscure things that nobody understands. Yeah. Very, very cheap. Ben, it won't be the same without you. You didn't deserve what happened, and if there's anything I can do or the station can do to help you out, please don't hesitate to ask, as long as it's not hiring you back.
I talked to the guys from the KFAN, sorry,
Thank you.
the Fan, post game show, and I let them know that Ben had been let go. And I think Meat Sauce said it best when he said, "Who?" Andrew, this is tough. Now, seeing we've got tens of thousands of listeners. I think in our contract we can't tell exact numbers. Tens of thousands of listeners, and for every single one of Ben's fans to be in the same room is amazing. And I actually, now that I see them face to face, Andrew, I feel bad, and you should feel bad too, for us making the decision to take catered breakfast every morning over Ben. Now I feel bad. I feel bad about it. All right, our next roaster from Ask a Liberal is Jamar Nelson. Now, Jamar, I'm not going to give you a hard time at all. The last thing we need as we're trying to keep the show alive is for you people to boycott the... No, but you people, I mean Democrats. Democrats. Wow. Jamar Nelson.
I mean, you guys got all type of long. You guys got all type of long spiels, and I'm just winging it. Spiels. Oh, I forgot. This is Mr. Corrector here.
No, it's just, I didn't know you knew Yiddish.
Oh,
Does it look Yiddish to you?
Sammy Davis Jr. was Jewish. Why can't I be Yiddish? See, I started this last December. In fact, this is kind of our anniversary, guys. Well, it was our anniversary. You know, and so I've become so attached to you guys. You know, it took a while for my wife and people like my father to understand your sense of humor. And I told them, calm down, because they thought you guys might have been racist. I said, no. Once you get to know them, they're really cool guys. And then once you get to know them, you understand that their sense of humor is kind of like an STD. If you don't got it, you'll get it. So, you know. So what really happened is they invited me on because no doubt they had to fill a quota. And how did the black guy last longer than you? Go figure.
We get a government grant.
Oh,
And I've got bad news for you.
no more Ask a Liberal?
Well, not you.
Oh, I know. Yeah, the other guy on there.
Great guy.
You don't even know KW. I am really honored actually that when they asked me. Well, first of all, when they called, I cried.
Oh.
I don't need the sound effects. I work this alone.
Oh, okay.
No, I was really surprised and hurt. This is a really good dude, both of them are, and including my boss here. You know, people love for you to attack me. Who's going to attack me now on Ask a Liberal?
Jack is going to have to sack up here.
He's got no nuts. He won't do it. Why do you think he still got a job? So, no, I can't keep digging at you for a job, but I just wonder how the unemployed black guy on Ask a Liberal still has a job and you don't. I don't know. Okay. Anyway, I won't keep going on those racist jokes. Am I going racist tonight?
You can do what you want.
Okay. This is a roast.
Yeah.
Okay. No, really though, I love both these guys, and it's been a pleasure. Am I gonna be asked back on again? Okay. So it's really been a pleasure knowing these guys, and I'm gonna say your name every time I'm on. Am I allowed to do that, boss? Could I say his name when I'm on?
We'll talk.
Okay.
There's a 20-second dump button.
Well, okay. Well, I'm gonna do nothing to get in my job endangered. No, okay. I love you very much, dude. You have become a really good friend, and it's only been a year, but I feel like when I met you, you weren't even getting any. This is how long a year is going. But now he's got a beautiful girlfriend. No more internet girlfriend. So, just saying.
I'm very proud of this fact.
Yeah, you should be. One of us should be, anyway. So, no, honestly, these guys are really good guys, and they make you feel at home. And I'm going to miss you, but you have my number. Don't text me to death. Please don't. Jesus. But, because I got no job for you, bro. I'm barely holding on to mine. So, it's really been a pleasure working with you guys. Or I keep saying you guys like you're going somewhere.
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, you sure?
No.
Ironclad contract.
Say one bad.
You better check it in the morning. I'm truly going to miss you. You got to keep your head up. You know, you are going to land on your feet. You're a great guy. You're a fantastic dude. You got a mouthpiece. You're too damn argumentative. Work on that for your next job. That's all I tell you. But you know what? You're one of the sweetest dudes I've ever met. I don't know if other guys are supposed to say that, but I'm so comfortable in my masculinity that you are one of the sweetest dudes I've ever met. It's been an absolute pleasure this whole year, and I love you, dude. All right?
There is an upside to Ben moving on from radio. We only get so much time in between segments, so he won't ever have to take a 20-second dump again. With your schedule, you could really be in there all day. All day. Senator Benson, do you want to talk? You were so good at our first-year anniversary. Yeah. Would you like to? You can sneak back here. Senator Michelle Benson. Can the camera see her? Just come on back. All these politicians want special treatment. Even the good ones.
Well, I was late because I was at a Dave Thompson event. So just for the record now, I've dumped 2 gubernatorial careers and 2 radio careers. So I'm going to move away from Jack. Just a little. We're not talking about past 2016 right now. Actually, we're not talking past Ben finding a job tonight. No, frankly, I miss your voice in the morning. I don't miss the singing. I don't miss the singing. Please don't do that to people.
Karaoke later, everyone?
Yeah. We were going to do that someday. And now that
right.
I'm not and you're not, we should. Absolutely. Anyway, really glad Ben's internet girlfriend is gone. The nice timing on that. 7:40, thanks, whatever you guys do at 7:40. That's when Claire and I get in the car, so I shut off the radio. So sports at 7:40 would be great. No more beating up on Ben at 7:40, though. Kind of miss that. I'll miss the nerd segments. I actually like nerd stuff. I did. I liked the nerd. I was probably the only one, but that's everybody. But in any case, there's nothing like 6:08 in the morning hearing about your breakfast. Thinking, really? My 3.5-year-old gets her own cereal and milk every morning before I get downstairs. I don't know how hard this could be. So, given that you've got some more time on your hands, you can go by McDonald's now and get breakfast. When the rush is over, and you can stand there and keep sending it back until they get it right. So I wish you the very best, Ben, and please keep in touch. It is a pleasure to count you among my friends.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Listen to her next time on the campaign trail when she says she's against handouts. John, I didn't prepare to give you any jabs. I think you're an asset to the team, and I look forward to working with you for years to come.
Well, I just really appreciate Ben. I'll be brief. I'll be short, kind of like your run on the morning show. No, but I've known Jack and Ben for a long time. When I met Jack and Ben, Jack had only lost one race for the state legislature. So he's doubled that. But that was back, if you can remember these days, when Minnesota had a Republican governor and a Republican senator, and Al Franken was still a guy telling rape jokes. That was, I guess we're kind of old. But anyway, Ben has been a great and stalwart conservative, and when I think about Ben, I think about, wow, Ronald Reagan also started on radio, and look where he went. And so one of the economic lessons I have is from Ronald Reagan. Some of us that are old remember in 1980 when he went around and said that a recession is when your neighbor loses his job. Ben now is in a depression now that he's lost his job.
Tell me about it.
And a recovery is when Jimmy Carter loses his job. So,
I gotta wait for Jimmy Carter.
oh, by the way, Jimmy Carter lost the race for governor in Georgia this year.
Oh,
So there's hope there.
all right.
But no, Ben is going to accomplish another one of his dreams. I know I've talked to him off the air about this dream. He's always wanted to be an economic statistic. So now when the new unemployment data comes out there, you'll see Ben in it.
I just looked through my name in the list, yeah.
No, but it's not that bad. I mean, this is not something I've done this. I lost my job in 2002, and that's how I got my current job. There are lots of people that can't go to their old job, like Adrian Peterson. Did you know Ben got the interview with friend of the show, Adrian Peterson, for the old late debate, I believe?
That's right.
Okay.
No,
So
Up and Adam. It was for Up and Adam.
it was up for okay. So I mean, he's interviewed Adrian Peterson, and they both may be looking for work. By the way, Ben, are you considering trying to do track and field for the Olympics? Because that's where he's going. But anyway, no. Right. I mean, this happens. We study the economy. There's always some unemployment. Think about the thousands of people that will no longer have jobs as movie projectionists for the interview. Or also this week we learned the guy that used to smuggle in Cuban cigars for President Clinton has lost his job. But we've seen this before. I know, Ben, you love movies. And so I think about, I've seen this happen to Ben before. On the Death Star, Darth Vader eliminated Ben Kenobi's position. But it turned out okay because in the end, Ben became more powerful than you could ever imagine. And I think great things will happen to Ben.
In the long tradition of Mark David Chapman and Yolanda Saldivar, I bring you superfan Andrew Smith. They assassinated the people they were in love with.
So I guess I should check. Am I supposed to go 5 to 1 or 1 to 5? Do we have sounders?
No.
All right. I actually came up with 7 reasons, and somebody edited out 2 of them. So top 5 reasons Ben was let go, unfortunately. Number 5, where Sizzle made listeners feel smart. In comparison, most didn't fare well when compared to Ben. Number 4, Dan Barrero claimed copyright infringement for the station's large, ranting but lovable host in the building.
It's a different time slot.
Number 3, the station was looking for a McDonald's sponsorship. So, Michelle, was that from you or was that from McDonald's? Number 2, his inability to correctly pronounce Polonaise. And number 1, Paul Allen was tired of hearing technically accurate, but not the reason I'm looking for when discussing the Vikings issues.
Very good.
All right. It is good. Thank you, Senator, for the McDonald's gift card?
Yes.
My concern with you not having a job is that you're going to starve to death. It'd take years, but... All right, I have something for you, and all of you folks who get to watch this. This is a special treat, and I think it's really neat that you guys showed up and everybody watching online to the last time Ben's ever going to talk to more than 3 people at a time. I have something that perhaps you'll be giving back to me in 8 months. This is for my former and I promise you, future co-host. Close your eyes. This means nothing unless you've been in the studio, and been in the studio a lot. Ben, I'm going to miss you, but you're not dead.
Can I look?
You can look. This is your staff
Prestigious award.
to hold on to all the time. I put it together today. Don't swing it around. It'll fall off.
It's beautiful.
Mm-hmm. It's all yours. And good luck in whatever you end up, whatever unemployment line you end up in, whatever soup line you end up complaining that they didn't have the right kind of soup.
Is stew a soup?
Here we go.
Yeah.
We'll cover that tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, the man of the hour, the 21st century Ruth Kozlak, Ben Kruse.
21st century Ruth Kozlak. Wow. Oh, you know, they say they roast because you love, but man, you guys hate me. I want to thank those that were invited to the dais, those that just barged in, saw fit to just, oh, I got something funny to say about Ben. Let's get on up on stage. But for those who were here, well, first, Michelle, I was worried seeing you here because I thought, you know, you're here to take me out. She's the Black Widow. She's taken out 2 standing state senators, like you said. You've taken out some gubernatorial candidates. Now you've taken out radio stars. I'm just worried. And me. I was in the Black Widow's crosshairs, and it does not feel good. No, I don't wish this upon you. No, avoiding you like the plague. Very plague-like. Mike, when you introduce Mike Wilson, you have to explain why he's filmmaker Mike Wilson. No, seriously, this guy a decade ago made some movies. It's like being friends with Pauly Shore. No, seriously, he made movies. I looked through some of the leaked documents from the Sony hack, and it turns out that nobody at that movie studio's heard of you either. Yeah, the heat's off when it comes to the DPRK. But Mike is a filmmaker the same way that I am a radio host. Sure, once upon a time we realized our dream, but now that old country buffet floor ain't gonna mop itself. Time to lean, time to clean. Kelly, oh Kelly. Kelly Gunderson is a very good friend. She's in that overcrowded demographic of Minnesota women who love NASCAR and conservative talk radio. A number of you are here today. Jack and I knew we were making some success in radio, and Kelly wouldn't stop calling into the show to fight for airtime. And you know how hard it is to hang up on a caller when they don't get to the end of their sentence? It turns into a run-on. Kelly has mastered this through a decade of radio listening. More than that. Ever since Sue Sheree. Probably ever since Steve Cannon. You were probably calling into Steve Cannon. Bob Yates. How about that? I have to thank Kelly because if we wouldn't be here. I wouldn't have what little success I have if it weren't for you being our loudest, shrillest advocate. Jamar, it's nice having an angry black man on my side for once. Jamar sat next to Kelly so that he could know what it's like to be taller than someone else. It'll look like I'm picking my nose now. Look, I'd be angry too if I had to walk around in everyone else's fart cloud. You know, that sounds awful. I loved having Jamar on the show. He gave us a perspective from the liberals, and man, did we get complaints when we'd have him on the show. Not from the conservatives. Conservatives loved you. It was from the Democrats. They called in to say that you were telling their side of the story just horribly. You were getting it all wrong. Jamar says that he voted for Mark Dayton because of Minnesota's job growth. Job growth? What job growth? I'll have you know that 50% of local conservative talk morning radio hosts have lost their job this year on Mark Dayton's watch. Andrew, just like old times, us three are doing a show and Sizzle's nowhere to be found. It's a little weird talking to you without a piece of glass in between us. You prefer it that way? Andrew has the worst luck. Not only is he a Floridian Dolphins fan, Floridian forced to live and work in frigid Minnesota, but he runs the conservative talk radio station in the one state where Democrats actually won seats. It's not good. That's not good. Feels like Andrew Lee has had more morning show hosts in the past 4 years than Vikings have had starting quarterbacks. I'm Christian Ponder in this analogy. I'm not good. Yeah, good point. Spurgeon win. I wish better luck for Andrew at the station, but it's going to be very difficult. You'd think with the small number of listeners Twin Cities News Talk gets that you wouldn't be firing those who do listen. So. Oh, Jack. No, Jack. Management finally listened to your complaints about me interrupting you all the time, so. This isn't the first time that Jack and I have worked together. What's weird is that Jack's usually the one to get fired first. So this is a new experience. My grandfather worked in radio. He worked at KYSM in Mankato. And so when I was young, I got to go down with my grandfather, see him work at the radio station, and that led me to fantasize that someday I might get to watch a close friend of mine live out my childhood dream of working in radio. If you know Jack at all, you'll know that he's a little bit vain. A little bit. I mean, look at him. He's so handsome. Appropriate, then, that the only person who will now get to look at Jack while he's working is Andrew. All of that pretty going to waste on the radio. But I'll admit, Jack is on the air and I'm not. Who else would have thought that Jack would succeed in an industry fueled by ego, arrogance, contempt, and narcissism? And Jack's been criticized for not being aggressive enough in interviews. In fact, he pitches so many softballs that the Twins have reserved a seat for them on their bullpen. You're bad at pitching. Jack talks about his kids a lot. Hugnugget, Indiana. Jack has shown his kids that if you work hard, often for little or no money, you'll be rewarded with a career where your key card may just stop working out of the blue. Getting fired is rough, but imagine what Jack still has to go through every day. Getting up at 4 in the morning while I'm still asleep. Starting the show at 6 in the morning while I'm still asleep. Finishing the show at 9 in the morning while I'm still asleep. Going out for lunch at noon while I'm still asleep. I haven't been awake since Friday. Science shows that sleep cures depression, right? Do I have that right? Or is that the opposite way? All right. Now, Jack and Andrew, they'd always roll their eyes whenever I would roll into an angry rant. Well, the joke's on you two. Good luck filling 3 hours a day without one of my patented 15-minute soliloquies on the proper use of condiments. You're screwed. This isn't the first time I've been unemployed. No. I used to work on Tom Emmer's gubernatorial campaign. And so this feels a little bit like deja vu. It seems that every time Mark Dayton gets elected, I lose my job soon after. It's funny, too, because Tom Emmer left radio to run for Congress. Then I replaced him. He won, and then I lost my job before Tom Emmer got sworn into office. So, not good luck. What really sickens me, though, is that all of this is probably something that Marty Seifert has been praying for, my comeuppance. Yeah. We're both out of a job. Actually, I think he got hired at a lobby firm, so I'm the one that's on the outs. I follow other Twin Cities radio greats who were let go by Clear Channel. Chad Hartman, superstar Mike Morris, Jeff Dubay. Well, hold on a second. These people aren't great. Shit. A lot of people are asking me why I got fired. Telling them that it was for budgetary reasons isn't very fulfilling. That's why from here on out, I'm going with the Sony excuse for my unemployment. North Korea was angry at my flagrantly pro-America stance, and iHeartMedia didn't have the balls to keep me around until Christmas. Yeah. Seriously, though, doing radio for the past 4 years, it's been a dream of mine. I did not know how you get into it. I now learn how you get out of it by getting into it in the first place. But I've met so many people that have become true friends, and I have learned more about relationships doing this than I ever tried reading out of a book or asking people, how do you talk to girls? So thank you everyone for being my friend, for listening, and maybe now that I'm not famous anymore, you can still be my friend. I don't know, maybe. All right. I'm getting a lot of questions about what I plan on doing now. The same thing I've been doing every day, being a loudmouth know-it-all. I'll get a job as that. So thank you all for coming out tonight. Thank you to the uninvited speakers. Thank you to the dais for your ribbing. I realize it's all in fun, and I love you. Oh, okay. Apparently Mike hates me, but I love you anyway. Thank you, and we'll see you all again in 7 months when Jack gets shit canned.
That was great, Ben. That was funny. That was interesting. You should have started that 3 years ago. This is going to be hard because I'd like to continue, of course, to be your friend. You're friends with my wife, my children. You've been in my house since the incident. But it's going to be like reopening the wound every time. It'd be easier if you'd been killed. I just wish for me you were dead. Thanks for coming out.
You're close.